Not many have heard of the adventures of Ragnar Lothbrok.
To the general public, Vikings were just war, death, and plunder. But the adaptations of one of the most iconic sagas in history gives us insight onto the true story of the Vikings. The Sagas of Ragnar Lothbrok is a Scandinavian epic originally from the Poetic Edda, and it is the text that I chose to study. I aim to explore our perception of Vikings by comparing the adaptations I've looked at to the classic saga. I looked at The Last Kingdom and Vikings to get a better understanding of the Northmen. I ended up focusing on The Vikings by Michael Hirst as it had more information and also resonated within me more. To summarize the events, the portion of the saga I focused on was the exploration of the West. Ragnar Lothbrok, a humble farmer, decides to explore to never before seen lands, despite being forbidden to do so. He gathers a crew of his closest friends and sets sail. The story focuses on his hard-willed nature and his conquests in the New World. The story is constantly riddled with signs from the gods and inspiring moments. The adaptations add an extra dimension by introducing Christianity and portraying the Vikings as accurately as possible. Throughout the original saga, we see the Northmen chasing the idea of exploration. Ragnar is nothing but a simple farmer at the beginning, but through his vision and desire for expanding horizons, we see the first part of being Viking. Although it's unclear about the accuracy of the statement, Ragnar is stated to be the first person to sail west. In the beginning of the story, Ragnar is refused of the opportunity to go to the new lands and prepares to betray his Earl. Ragnar's defiance of his Earl shows his desperation to sail west and expand his new horizons. Ragnar defied his Jarl's words, praying for the winds to carry his sails across Njord Sea. The religious imagery expresses the god's encouragement of his actions and emphasizes the explorative nature of Viking culture. It gives us insight into what the Vikings celebrated as explorations and heroic acts were considered godly. The modern adaptation, Vikings, follows the main storyline as the saga. Some small changes were made to make the series events more understandable, but the core concepts are still there. Michael makes it abundantly clear that the rule of the Earl must be obeyed, and affirms the social conventions regarding explorations in this clip.
I will not risk my ships on such a deluded fantasy. Now that's the end of the matter.
By doing this, Michael enforces the tight-bound restrictions that Ragnar attempts to break. In the original text, Ragnar is forbidden as it was considered foolish. However, a modern take is that Vikings were very hierarchical in nature, suggesting exploration was in fact discouraged. In the original text, the sagas discuss the idea of fame that comes with exploration through the rumors and stories that people spread across the world. The saga itself is structured in a way that shows splices of events happening at different places at the same time to convey what's happening across the lands simultaneously. An example of this is when Ragnar says, "As the grand Midgard Serpent, your tail spans across the world." The symbolic simile highlights the speedy spread of the fame. And this recurring theme of fame is closely linked with the culture itself, as the Northmen strive for fame and glory. Michael shifts the focus from fame to power, as after Ragnar's conquest we skip forward in time to a time where Ragnar is already well established in Norway. However, unlike the original text, where fame is celebrated, this series challenges the need for power. With the conquests of Wessex successful, Ragnar's fame has granted him enough power, everything he's ever wanted. But after climbing to the top, he realizes the truth about power.
What do you see? Power. The power of a king. Power is always dangerous. It attracts the West and corrupts the best. I never asked for power. Power is only given to those who are prepared to lower themselves, to pick it up.
From this, we see a modern imagining of the Vikings' understanding of power. The younger one, Ragnar's son, is reminiscent of Ragnar himself when he was younger. He wants the power of a king. Ragnar, now older and wiser, understands that power is not always the best thing to have. The dark lighting scheme is used to emphasize the negative connotations of power, indicating that Ragnar himself has been corrupted by power despite having a full understanding of it. It is confirmed in this clip.
Are you corrupt?
Unlike the original saga that celebrated and encouraged fame, this adaptation suggests there are more intricacies to Viking power than blood, gore, and plunder than we first realized. Through taking this task, I have improved my overall knowledge of Viking legend. More relevantly, however, I see that through adaptations, we as ordinary people can acquire good insight into the past and history of concepts we haven't even thought about. Through research, interest, and binging, I can confirm this.